Okay, what is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my channel, and today let's go for another round of our WCR Championship. And this guys heard the ticking down of the clock for the start of the lobby. Let's get ourselves started with the track introduction, shall we? Round 9 of the WCR Championship brings us today to Japan and the 5.8 kilometer of the Suzuka International Circuit, which first hosted a Grand Prix back in 1987. This 18-turn circuit has a unique figure of 8 layout, which is not only bumpy and fast, but it is also riddled with history from its time on the F1 calendar. From Senna's stall down the start-finish straight at the start of his first championship drive back in '88, to Kimi Raikkonen's masterclass drive in '05, we have more than enough reasons to expect a great race on a classic racetrack here today. Now, getting ourselves, as you guys can see, on the tire compounds, you guys can see that we have at our disposal the softs, the super softs and the mediums, which are of course going to take us through a multitude of strategies if everyone goes as I have predicted. 3 different strategies for today. I believe that we also have a fourth available to us, but I'm not sure if that one is possible today. Now let's get into the lobby and take a look at our standings. We have Jensen leading the championship with a 18-point lead over Evil Kiwi, as Northern Rate is the best of the rest with exactly half the amount of points Jensen has gotten so far. Black Reverse is in 4th with 56 points, followed by Zor, as he is only 1 point behind. Then we have Dahl in 6th, Overspeed in 7th, Value in 8th, Tyster in 9th, and Beef closes the top 10. Now, after that, let's take a look at our constructor standings, and as you guys can see, we have Williams leading the championship with 184 points to their name. Then we have Toro Rosso in 2nd, Renault in P3 with exactly 100 points. After that, we have Alfa Romeo Sauber with 66, 3 more than Force India, as Ferrari follows in 6th with 54 points, exactly 20 points over Red Bull, as Haas follow in 8th with 30 points, 6 more than Mercedes, and McLaren closes the top 10 with only 6 points to their name. Okay, so that is done with. Let's get ourselves on the lobby. By the way, welcome to the live stream, everyone who has joined us a bit later. And let me, before we start getting ourselves, as Bialuk is on pits, let's take a look at Pitex Sim Racer as we get ourselves through the details. So as you guys can see, we have lots of people on the super soft, soft and medium tires talking about the strategy. We do have 3 or maybe 4 different strategies that people could pull off. Of course, from what I know, we have the super softs to medium, where the drivers should pit at about lap 6 or 7. From the softs to the mediums, the drivers should be pitting around lap 10 and 12, or 12 rather. And people can start also on the mediums and finish the race on the softs, pitting at laps 13 or 15. That would be the window for those. Or, I don't know, I didn't gather any information regarding that, so I don't know what pit stop people could pull off, but it might be possible for someone to go on the super softs to the softs. I have heard, of course I've never seen anyone pull it off, but I have heard that it is possible. So maybe we can see it, I at least can see it for the first time here today in this Grand Prix. So as you guys can see, we have a Sim Racer going for his flying lap, getting himself now through turn number 7, up to the gears approaching the Dagnas, as we have one of the Ferraris going quite sideways, unless that was just a lag incident, getting out of the second Dagna of turn number 10. This right-hand kink, you go hard on the brakes for the hairpin of turn 11. Getting a late apex is advised as you want to get the maximum traction at the exit of the hairpin through this right-hander, which could as well be a straight as we approach turns 13 and 14, also known as the spoon curve. You go on a double apex right-hander, you need to be smooth on the power on the exit, not take too much of the turf on the outside, which are now going up through the gears once again This is unfortunately not a DRS zone. I would like it if it was a DRS zone personally. As you hold down your breath for 130R, now we go heavily on the brakes once again for numbers for corners number 16 and 17 as you try to take it easy on the throttle because turn number 18 is very bumpy. BTEC Sim Racer lifts off as he crosses over the line with a 1.31 tray, a very slow lap from the Toro Rosso driver, as he looks like he doesn't really want to get his lap, or he doesn't want to start the race, at least, on this specific set of super softs. So, we are going to take ourselves a look at our drivers, because we have some news of our driver market. So, as you guys can see, let me try to find him. We have Petronas on a Haas, which of course is quite different than the Williams he's been driving all season. That is because he has become Petronas is also dull, for those of you who are not recognizing that name. He has brought himself down to a reserve driver role. So we have Rat, the former Mercedes driver, jumping into Williams' seat, and therefore the old Dane lineup at Williams is still intact. There are still two Danish drivers at Williams. That opened the space at Mercedes, which we got the Frenchman Zor in, as you guys can see, is currently in 9th place, but he's driving currently as a full-time driver for the Mercedes team. So we've had 3 changes on that. We had Zor coming out from, oh boy, that was a lively rear end there. But yeah, we had Zor coming out of being a replacement driver to getting a full-time seat with the Mercedes team. We had also a jump from Mercedes to Williams, and we had the drop of Dal, or Petronas, yeah. Just not used to saying that name. As Petronas gets himself now a role of a reserve. Now, let's get ourselves taking a look. I think Zor is about to complete his flying lap. Will he also slow down at the end of it? Let's find out. As getting through the last chicane, of course, it's always, you can't cut it too aggressively, otherwise you get your lap nullified. But no, speaking of nullification, he gives up on his own lap and goes into the pits. So he's not really going. I think that some of these super soft starter drivers are just trying to get themselves acclimatized, getting a bit of practice. We have Tom with the fastest lap so far. This is his debut Grand Prix here today. The Dogster, who's currently in 13th for the Ferrari, is also on his debut race weekend, at least for WCR, as Rat is out of the session. Videoton is also out, so unfortunately those two are most likely going to get the rear row of the grid. I don't know what happened to them, as we have ourselves a movement. I think it was Jensen getting P5, but getting overtaken by Logan, who is not on his debut, but we haven't seen him in a while. The German driver is currently on his second race in WCR. He who, allow me to minimize my OBS window, his debut race was at Singapore, and he did not finish that one race. So unfortunately for him, he did not score any points that time around. Hopefully he can have a better performance this weekend. I believe he has already completed his flying lap on the mediums. He done a 1:29.0. Hopefully I'm going to see the laps drop a little bit more, as Tom is still in the pits. Let's try to take a look at someone who might be going on a flying lap. I would say BTEC Sim Racer is probably going on a flying lap. He aborted his lap on the super softs, and he is now on his out lap. Let's see how he does. The Dogster has put up a lap with the super softs, 1:30.6, that got him 9th place so far. Evil Kiwi also did a couple laps on the mediums. He's currently 8th place behind Dai Reed, the American driver, who got 9th place at Russia last time out. So it is a second best result of the entire season. Only for 3 occasions he got himself in the top 10. He got 8th at Italy, 10th at Singapore, and 9th at Russia. So he doesn't have many points, especially since Black Reverse is absolutely smacking him. He finished every single race in the points, including a fourth place finish at Singapore and the fifth place finish at Italy. So Black Reverse has been having a much better performances than his teammate on this season so far, and has basically single-handedly carried the Force India constructor through the constructor standings. So let's see how that goes towards the end of the season. Hopefully the American driver gets a shift in form for the better. That would be nicely if he could pull that one off. Now following with sim races, he gets through the second Degna and up through turn 10, this right-hand kink. You try to take a late apex on it so you can straighten out the car for the braking zone into turn number 11. Of course, you don't want to have the car out of balance, nor you want to touch any grass whatsoever, as Kvyat demonstrated in 2015. It's not the best course of action through that section. He's getting now himself through the spoon curves. Looks nicely on the exit as well. Didn't get too wide on the exit. Let's see how it gets now through 130R. He could have gotten closer to the curbs there, so a couple centimeters off of it, but still a very composed lap so far. Will we see him retire from it? He's still full throttle. He crosses over the line and gets an 8th place, 129.4. Good lap considering he was on the mediums. He's currently in front of his own teammate. We are going to move ourselves to the pole. Necronical Pug is about to start his flying lap, I believe. Yes, he has. So we are actually going to look at him a bit later. We have also Tom. Let's take a look at where he is. He's still on his out lap as well. We have... let's take a look. Evil Kiwi is just about to start his lap as well. So yeah, lots of people on their out laps. We have Noiderweight, who is about to cross the line, but he manages to get into the pits on those soft tires. That lockup is sure not to help him conserve the health of those if he's going to start the race on those, even though he's outside of the top 10, so he's going to get a brand new nonetheless. So yeah. Oh my god, by the way, what? Wait. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I was just... Streamlabels was giving me a bit of a troll at the moment. But yeah, Anakin Schroeder, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. But yeah, he's currently in the pits. Let's jump ourselves to Pug, who must be on his way through the last sector at the moment. He's currently at the spoon curbs, or the spoon corner. Let's see what he does once again. I believe it is really a shame that this straight is not a DRS zone. It would be quite tasty as people approach with DRS to 130R. Lots of side-by-side racing through there as well, I would say. But yeah, I guess safety is the primary concern when making those kinds of decisions. It would be exciting though. So Cornical Pug decides to abort his lap. Maybe he got his lap invalidated. And let's take a look at Kiwi, who looks like he's about to finish his lap. Let's get on board with the Czech driver. He who, since Singapore, he got third place at Singapore, but in Russia he had a very bad restart on the safety car we had at the race. It was very tricky conditions, but he got himself caught on an incident and couldn't better P5, unfortunately for him. So Jensen, who got himself the win, I believe. Yes, he did get himself a win, pulled away in the championship. Dogstar is also entering the pits. I'm having lots of great timing today with the people I'm following. I apologize for that. But well, that's how it goes. Let's see if Zor is going to complete his flying lap. It looks like he's pushing. He's on mode number 5 of his ERS, so he's pushing. Let's see if he completes this lap. Of course, he's going to be doing much better than that 1:48.2. The Frenchman might not have any chance at the championship, but he's still going to be a regular top 5 finisher. I'm sure of that. He debuted at Spa, got second place, then didn't take part of the Italian Grand Prix. Came back at Singapore to demolish the competition and take the win by a mile. And then at Russia he made a couple mistakes and got himself fourth place. One of them, under the safety car, he decided to pit, but exceeded the pit lane speed limit, so the penalization from that didn't allow him to get on the podium. at last week's race. But nonetheless, he's going to get himself DRS wide open up to the gears and gets himself provisory pole with a 127.9. That is almost 3/10 quicker lap time than Jensen has achieved so far. Let's take a look at Tyser, who's also on his flying lap. Take a look at Leglaf as well. Leglaf is closer to completing his lap. We're going to take a look at the Hungarian later. As Leglaf, he has his only points finish has been Silverstone 7th place. He has either not taken part of the race, or every single race he has taken a part of, he has retired from midway through it. So since Silverstone, which was the second race of the season, he hasn't completed a race, and it looks like he's not going to improve his lap time. He's added to the pits. Let's get ourselves to the Hungarian Tyser, who also retired from Russia. Had a respectable 6th place at Singapore. He didn't take part in the 2 races before that and got 7th at his own Grand Prix at Hungary, a 6th place at Silverstone and 5th at Austria are his results on the season so far. He's going to get himself on the pits as well. So that's how it goes. Those people are aborting their laps. Let's take a look at Nechronicle. Looks like he has already started his flying lap. Hopefully, it does not abort this one, because there's been a bunch of drivers, I've noticed, have been nullifying their laps by going into the pits. Hopefully, Nechronicle is not one of them. He is on the Super Softs, which of course gets him the pace advantage compared to the pole sitter Zor, who has retired from the session. Either he crashed or is that confident on his pace. Or maybe for him it just doesn't matter. He got himself the lap he wanted. He's going to start with those tires, and he's not going to try harder and maybe lock up with another set of tires, and despite beating that lap time, getting worse life on the set he's going to start the race with. So he decides to back out from the session. He's not going to improve any further his time, and it's up for his rivals to beat his lap time. Now we have the pole. The Haas driver is going to cross over the line, and it is going to be 4th place for him at the moment, 128.4, so not too bad at all. As we're going to jump to Evil Kiwi, who is about to start his flying lap, and I do want to follow the Czech driver, see what he can do today. He didn't have the greatest Russian Grand Prix, so let's see how he bounces back today. Here we go now through turn 1. It's of course downhill, braking, steering and downshifting, so it's always tricky as I'm going to have to back out because I'm getting the glitched sound of the engine on the cockpit cam, unfortunately. He gets himself now through turn number 5, now the right-hander of 6, through the snake section as it is called. Now it is wide open on the throttle as you get through turn 7 up through the gears. Now you have to be precise on your movements through turn number 7 and 8. Of course, you don't have much time to correct any extra speed through the first Stagna. He's gone through that very nicely. A bit of a lockup of the entry at turn 11, but he's smooth on the exit. Now it's up through the gears once again as he gets himself through the right and very wide corner of turn number 12. Now through 13 and 14 he goes heavy on the brakes, the double apex. He could have gotten quicker to that curb, a bit too much on the exit. I don't know if he's going to get a slap on the wrist for that one or not, because we have only 30 seconds left. I don't know if he has it to go for another flying lap if he wants to. He gets through 130R, well within the track limits. Now heavy on the brakes once again to corners number 16 and 17. Smooth on the power of the exit. There's a massive bump to the inside that can very unsettle your car, and he gets through the line on a 6th place, 128.8. And come on, that's not a good camera, god damn it. My ears were bleeding, sorry about that. So we're going to take a look at Leglaf. He is now, I would say, not the leader anymore at this Mercedes team. His teammate Zor crossed over the line with pole position. We have Logan crossing the line. He's not going to be able to get another lap done. He won't be bettering 8th place. Neither rate won't be better than 16th, unfortunately for him. A big lockup from leg left. He's on the super softs though. Will that mean an advantage over his most direct rivals? He's going to cross over the line. And it's going to be 7th place, 128.9. Let's take a look now at Overspeed, who's also about to get his lap done. Ooh, the rear getting a bit loose on the entry to number 16. Let's get once again to that massive bump. He gets up through the gears and gets himself a very nice 4th place so far, 128.2. Let's take a look now. I would like the menu to collaborate with me. Let's take a look at Tom. He is on his debut, right behind another debutee, the Dogster. Dogster looks like he's getting awfully close. That could be... oh my god, that could be a bit awkward. I would guess they are both on flying laps, but that's not exactly the way to go. Both of them go deep on the chicane. Oh my god, that is... oh my god, Dogster gets in the wall. And Tom retired as well, so they're not going to improve. Tom gets P3, Dogster can't better P16. And I believe everybody else has crossed the line or retired from the session. That was a chaotic end to this qualifying session. That was very awkward, I would say. I guess both of them wanted to complete their flank laps, but yeah, Tom was just too close. Or maybe Dogster made a mistake but tried to carry on with it. So yeah, no idea what happened through there. But okay, session is done. And we are going to get the official results after the loading procedures from everyone. So let's wait a second for it. But yeah, that was a very embarrassing moment, I would say. That was very awkward. But honestly, Tom, he was just quicker. He had really nowhere to go, especially as he started getting the slipstream. As it is Zor on pole, almost 3/10 away from Jensen, who qualified on the mediums though. So very good performance from Jensen considering that. Then we have Tom on the super softs in P3, Overspeed in P4, and a Chronicle Pug in 5th. BTEC Sim Racer in 6th. I believe this is the first time Evil Kiwi gets out-qualified by a teammate. He got a lap time 4/10 slower than a Sim Racer's lap, so very good job by the Welsh, as we didn't get enough time to get through the entirety of the grid, or at least I couldn't. Probably you guys could scan through the list with your eyes much quicker than I can talk over it. Let's get ourselves to the race though. I believe there are clear skies at the moment. Of course, there could be a wall of clouds on the other side of that building, of the pit lane. But, nonetheless, for now, I would say the prediction is to be a clear race. I didn't have any messages from any of the drivers telling me what weather we would be presented with today. Let me just confirm real quick. And yeah, we are going to have a dry race. I'm sorry, we did in fact get confirmation. I just had to check there. I didn't notice the Steam chat notification when I got it. But yeah, we are going to have an entirely dry race for today, which is great. For a moment it looked to me, on the graphic there, it looked to me like we had a front row lockout. But yeah, it's just the shade of the color of the Mercedes and the Williams are very similar to me. Now let's take a look and what? Oh, okay. Sim Racer and Chronicle Pug, they had contact, so they are already disqualified from the formation lap. And we don't need the telemetry, we don't need the lap data. Sorry about that. But yeah, just a quick rundown of the strategies for those of you who might not know or have arrived later. We have the super soft starters, maybe going for them to the mediums at lap 6 or 7. We have the people who started on the softs that would ideally pit stop for mediums at between lap 10 and 12, and those who start on the mediums could get rid of them for a set of softs between laps number 13 and 15. And I've also gotten words that there is possible to do a super soft strategy. It's just I've never seen it done, but I've been told that after the patch that removed the how effective the tire heating was, it has been possible to make super soft strategies here in Japan. I have no idea about that, or if the person who told me that was just trolling me. Maybe they were, but yeah, that is also a possibility perhaps. So we have 3, potentially 4 different strategies available to everyone. Vilnius, on his first race out of the Williams, gets 12th place, so not in the top 10. Black Reverse, he has had a very good form, but couldn't get in the top 10 today. Logan, on his second race of the season, he retired in the first one. In his second race, he qualified top 10 on the mediums, so hopefully he can finish a race this season. We have Evil Kiwi getting himself 8th place. I don't believe that was the best lap he could have achieved, but, well, maybe he just struggles at this track. He's going to have some work to do, though. It has been the first time he was out-qualified by his own teammate. The Chronicle Pug with a great performance as the pole gets 5th, and we are waiting for everyone to get themselves fitted on their marks. This is not helping me. These camera angles are not the greatest, any of those. Oh my, what is this? As there you have it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Zor had a bit of a slow reaction to the start. We have Jensen dropping down to 5th place. What a poor start from him. We have the Chronicle Pug already challenging for P3 around the outside of Overspeed. We have Tom up to P2. We have Overspeed side by side with the pole. I can also see a bit of a scrum between both Toro Rosso drivers. The Chronicle Pug makes his way up to P3. Beat Exim Racer maintains 6th place. He couldn't take advantage of the poor start from Jensen. We have Evil Kiwi up through Leglaf and up to P7. We have Leglaf in 8th, Tyser in 9th, Pilnius in 10th. We also have further changes in positions. Rat gets already a 10-second time penalty for extending the track limit, so not the greatest start of the race for the new Williams driver, as we get ourselves now a bit of a lead from Zor to Tom. The Chronicle Pug get challenged by Overspeed, but Overspeed decided to back off from it. We have Jensen now getting sandwiched by Bitexim Racer in Leglaf, who's also gotten past Evil Kiwi in the meantime. It could have been 3 wide through there, now it's dwelled into a 2 wide battle there for what I believe to be 6th place. Jensen maintains ahead of Evil Kiwi. And let's see how it goes now at the exit of the Spoon Corners. Evil Kiwi might have gotten a better exit than Jensen. Leglaf is going to be giving a bit of slipstream to both of them. It's going to be a drag race into 130R. Let's see how it goes. Jensen takes a bit of a tighter approach to it, but Evil Kiwi has now a look at the inside to the chicane. Bitexim Racer out misses his braking zone, has to go through the escape road, and he drops down quite a bit. He's currently in 11th. Zor, the first to cross the line, gets of course the fastest lap of the race so far. We have Tyser now taking a grand look at the battle for 6th place between Jensen and Evil Kiwi. There was a bit of contact through there. The Renault driver might have a look at the inside of Jensen, opts to back out from it, and as things normalize, we have once again Jensen behind Evil Kiwi. So this is the battle between the two championship leaders, and Jensen was sitting comfortable at the start of this Grand Prix, but now Evil Kiwi is taking a charge at his championship lead. It is an 18-point lead from Jensen to Evil Kiwi. So let's see how that develops throughout the remaining of the race. Scanning down the order, BTX Sim Racer, he had a massive mistake into the last chicane. He's going to have a look at Videoton through turn 10. Let's see if Videoton comes back on the brakes. No, he does not. And it is a clean overtaking maneuver from BTX Sim Racer. He does have the pace. He did very well to get himself 6th place in qualifying. He adds that mistake into the chicane, but hopefully he has the pace to get himself back into the top 10. Taking a look at the top 10, we have a battle between Tyser and Logan, as Logan gotten himself already promoted 2 places since the start of the race, as Pilnius gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits one too many times, unfortunately for him. We also had Evil Kiwi battling with Leglaf as we get ourselves through the chicane. The Irish driver, I believe this is the highest up he has ever been on this season so far, currently in 5th place. This would be absolutely awesome for the drivers. We have Diarrhea and Bitexim Racer retiring from the session. I don't know if the two collided, but they are both out of the races. Leglaf getting a bit wide through there, just getting his shoulders out, or his elbows out, and not allowing the Czech driver of the Toro Rosso to get himself P5. So well done from Leglaf there to defend his top 5 position at the moment. Scanning down the order, we have already Tom and Zor pulling away quite a bit from the Chronicle Pug. It's already a 2-second gap between 2nd and 3rd. We have Overspeed trying to take a look at that third spot. Of course, it doesn't have the opportunity at the moment, but as we get further into the race, those super softs are going to start degrading rather soon, and Overspeed, I would say, will soon have the rubber advantage, is going to have the tire wear advantage, and is going to be breathing now down the pole's neck, that's for sure. Quite soon. It could already start with this lap. We're going to take a look at Tom, who's already not too far off of the race leader Zor, but we are going to see what DRS can do right now. Let's see who gets the better exit. Of course, Tom theoretically would have the best traction, but of course the tires degrade quicker, so let's see how that goes. DRS is wide open on the back of that Red Bull. If he gets already a 3-second time penalty, Vilnius is out of the race, Rat is also out of the race. We have already 4 drivers dropping out of the race, unfortunately, as we have Overspeed also not being able to challenge the Chronicle Pug. Evil Kiwi taking DRS, I would say, to challenge leg left. There is contact, unfortunately. I don't think Evil Kiwi had much places to go, unfortunately, and leg left has to get through the runoff area and drops down. He didn't drop much though. He gets to 6th place, but he is over a second behind Evil Kiwi, which is not the best, and and he has now Jensen, the championship leader, breathing down his neck. Will the Dane do anything into corner number 11? No, he does not. He decides to take it easy into the hairpin. Logan also had a look at the inside of Tyser. Sorry about that. But Tyser is still in 8th place. Let's take a look at Leglaf and Jensen. We have another charge from the championship leader through the inside of the number 63, and he is up to 6th place. This will not be over though, because of course Leglaf will take the slipstream all the way down into 130R and for the remaining of the lap, and into turn 1 is also going to get the RS. So let's see how it goes. It is going to be interesting to see how those two battle it out. We are going to take a look before that at Overspeed. It looks like he's too far behind to make anything happen. So let's get ourselves back to Leglaf. Now he decides to get into the pits. He's going to be the first of the super soft runners to get in the pits. So let's see how that one goes for him, as he's going to come out of the pits rather close to last place, I would say. Noiderate gets past him for 12th place, as we have currently Tom. He's been losing he almost lost a second in the last 2 laps, I would say. So he's now 1.5 seconds behind the Frenchman. Unfortunately for him, he's been struggling to keep up with the Mercedes pace. There was a Haas going awfully wide through the second Derna, and that might open the door for Overspeed to go at something through the hairpin. He does not, but it's going to be awful close as we get to the high-speed section of this circuit. It's only less than 4/10 gap at the moment, as Dogster gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits one too many times. Leglaf he has currently 14th place under his belt. He also has a bit of clean air in front of him. He's 6 seconds behind Dogster. Black Reverse also started the race on mediums, but he has had a disastrous start of the race. He started the race on the midfield, and sometimes that's disastrous. He gets himself in 15th place at the moment. Looks like, despite having the slipstream and all that, the Chronicle Pug has had a better last sector, and the gap is already over half a second, so Overspeed won't be able to do anything, and Videoton is out of the race. Dogster, let's see where we have Videoton crashed at the outside of 130R. Unfortunately for him, I don't know if there was contact as he was battling with maybe Bielyuk or JJS, but he is out of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately for him, we have already 5 victims of the race. So we're going to scan down the order. We have Overspeed once again under half a second of the Haas driver. Maybe Overspeed has the advantage. Oh my god, there's another mistake from the Chronicle Pug, and Overspeed just says thank you very much and proceeds himself to 3rd place. I was going to say maybe Overspeed is more comfortable through the first sector, but the Chronicle Pug is better through the last sector of the circuit. But yeah, that mistake won't allow him to keep up that pace, and he's going to have to drop to P number 4. We have Evil Kiwi at the moment, is the closest driver to, well, is the one that is closer to any other driver around him. He's just less than a second rather, away from the Chronicle Pug. Kiwi, he hasn't had the best of qualifying performances. He qualified in 8th place, but he finds himself up to 5th, not only because of mistakes from his teammates and some others, but also Jensen, who had a very bad start, but he has been able to move up through the pack with Kiwi after that very bad start. He is currently in 6th place. He has been down to 8 so far, so Jensen is also trying to recover, trying to stay with Kiwi, trying to minimize damage, not lose too many points in the championship. For those who don't know, Jensen is our championship leader, 18 points away from Evil Kiwi. So at the moment, Kiwi is going to take a bit of his lead. Of course, I believe the difference between 5th and 6th is only 2 points, if I am not correct. Let me know in chat. As we have Kiwi getting very close to Necronical Pug. We're getting through the diagonals once again. Will Necronical Pug do a mistake? Not this time. And he holds on to 4th place. But Evil Kiwi is awfully close. Let's take a look. Is he going to make a maneuver into the airpin? It was a little bit late, but he does go for it. Necronical Pug, though, he gets a better exit. He's going for the switchback. It's going to be a drag race now through turn 12. And let's see who arrives first to the spoon corner. And it is going to be Evil Kiwi. Necronical Pug had a better exit, but wasn't as quick through the gears and couldn't stay alongside the Czech driver. Maybe Necronical Pug got some front wing damage, I don't know, but he has been struggling a little bit for the last couple laps. Maybe his tires are degrading quicker than what he was predicting. Of course, I would say the ideal pit stop would be between laps 6 and 7, and they are about to complete their lap number 7. Are the super soft runners going to the pits as Tyser retires from the race? We have Necronical Pug in the pits, ignoring the speed limit, gets a slap on the wrist for that 5-second stop and go penalty. So we have one of the super soft starters out and the other in the pits. He's going to switch for a set of the soft tires. It went for the softs, but then it switched rapidly to the super softs. That was quite weird. Let's take a look at him. I would like to get a look. And he is back on the super soft. So that's a double super soft stint at the start of this Grand Prix from Necronical Pug, as we already have 5 cars out of the race, 6 cars out of the race, unfortunately for us. Some of them had really promising qualifying performances from the likes of Videoton and BTEC Sim Racer, but unfortunately they are out, as we have the Haas driver getting himself around Noiderate through turn number 7. Not usually a typical overtaking spot, but he made it work through there, as he has not only quicker tires, but also much fresher. And he's also going to get hunting down JJS, who's on 7 laps old mediums, so much slower tires and much older tires. As I believe Tom got also a 3-second time penalty. He's already 6 seconds away from Zor, so that was definitely an off-track excursion there from the Netherlands driver, the Dutch driver, that was the word I was looking for, and overspeed is already just over a second behind the Red Bull driver. Now let's take a look at Necronical Pug as he's taking the slipstream. Azor gets the 3-second time penalty of his own, so he needs to take a look at that until the end of the race. That it might become a factor, as we have rather brave maneuver there. Look at that, the switchback, brilliantly done from Necronical Pug. He's being rather aggressive ever since he come out of the pits, and he is up to P8. He is also probably going to get the RS off of that, so that's very nicely done from the pole. Now looking at the battle for P2, we have overspeed pressurizing Tom. Tom made some sort of mistake. He's probably not complaining, but struggling quite a bit on his Red World Super Softs. He's trying to make those last as long as a set of softs would. I believe that's to be his strategy, but that's not going to go for too long. Tom has overspeed breathing down his neck, and Evil Kiwi is going to join the party soon, I would say. There goes side by side, but overspeed took the outside, couldn't get through the Red Bull. Let's see now who gets the better exit. I'm going to jump to Evil Kiwi. He's going to get prime seat in the house to witness this battle between the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull. It might be side by side into 130R. Let's see, overspeed picks the inside. Tom goes around the outside. He goes wide And Evil Kiwi says, thank you very much. He didn't get his line compromised, so he's now on the back of Overspeed. Was he going for the switchback lightning chronicle puck? No, he does not. But he does have a good exit. He's going to get the RS on the Hungarian driver. Is up through the gears. The RS wide open, possibly a higher ERS and fuel engine mode. And let's see how it goes. This is a very good shot of turn 1, and he goes cleanly around the outside to get himself up to P2. Very good race from Evil Q. He's qualified in P8 and is up to P2. What a brilliant performance so far from him, as Dogster retired from the race. So we have another driver out. Fortunately for the Ferrari boys, they still have Bielyuk in the points. So at least for now, this is not going to be the third no points finish for the Ferrari team today, at least so far. Hopefully I'm not jinxing no one. Tom goes into the pits for a set of softs. He comes out of the pits in 8th place, less than a second away from JJS. Of course, JJS is on the mediums, and he does have 9 laps on them, so Tom will probably have a better pace. But yeah, Tom is not going to take those softs until the end. He might be going for super soft, soft, or super soft, super soft. But I would expect him to go into the mediums and take them to the end. But looks like he's going for a 2-stop strategy today. Now, as you guys can see, Evil Kiwi has been pulling away from those two, as Jensen also got his way up to the pack and is closing in on Overspeed. Of course, the mediums last longer, so at this point it must be the mediums having the pace advantage. They must be much better on tire wear than the soft runners at the moment. He's going to get the RS wide open. Overspeed might get the RS of his own. Let's see. Yes, he does have. So Jensen might have to wait for another lap to be able to go for a move for that 3rd place. But yes, about 3 laps ago we had the super softs having the softs having the pace advantage over the super softs, and now it's the medium runners who have the advantage over the soft tired runners. So we have someone in the pits. We have Noiderate in the pits. We have Tom pulling away from JJS, who's on his 10th lap on his mediums. Leglaf also gets past Noiderate. Black Reverse might also be able to get through. We don't know that at the moment, but as it stands, it looks like Noiderate is going to come out of the pits. It looks like he has damage because he's been on the pits for an awful long amount of time. He's going to take mediums to the end of the race. Black Reverse actually went past him. So yes, it's going to be Noiderate coming out of the pits in P12. So that is the order we have at the moment. I'm going to take a look at the amount of pit stops. So as you guys can see, JJS hasn't stopped, Bielyuk has not stopped as well, and everyone in the top 5 has not stopped at the moment. So they either started the race on the softs or on the mediums. So it's going to be, those guys are going to be doing 1 stop. Those that have stopped once before either are taking tires to the end, like Noiderate, who are taking mediums to the end, or they are going to go for a double stop strategy. We have someone in the pits. We have Zor finally getting in the pits. We also have, the menu is not collaborating with me. What's wrong with this? Okay. We also have Overspeed in the pits. He's getting released. Zor is quite a few seconds away from him. Let's see where Overspeed is dropped by Nechronicle Pug, who's on his 2nd super soft stint. Will Overspeed get himself away from Tom? Looks like not. Tom is up to P6, but he's going to have to pit again on that set of soft tires. Overspeed is going to take those mediums to the end, so he's comfortable for a top 5 at the moment, unless he does any mistakes. Zor came out of the pit still in the top 5. He's 11 seconds away from Logan, so the tire compound difference, the lap difference is quite big between Zor and the front tray. And we have Jensen not really able to reel Evil Kiwi in, despite at this point I would say the mediums have the pace advantage over the softs, as the softs are getting quite old. I don't think Jensen has been able to get closer to Kiwi on the past couple laps. Logan, he qualified himself in exactly 10th place and get himself up to P3. Yes, he hasn't stopped yet, but then again, is what, 5 seconds away from the lead? So it's been a very good performance from the German driver. Again, his debut race was at Singapore. He did not manage to finish that one. but today is on the cards for maybe a top 5 finish, as we have Evil Kiwi in the pits. Is going to change for a set of mediums and is on his merry way, as we have on the background Zor coming through to overtake. Maybe Necronical Pug. Will Necronical Pug get past him as well? It's going to be close, and it does get past the Czech driver, as we have this very good shot. He is past the Czech driver of the Toro Rosso, but Necronical Pug is going to pit again. That's the thing. He's going to get rid of those super softs at some point. He's going on super soft, soft, I would say. And Tom is behind Evil Kiwi, so despite going earlier on a set of softs, that didn't get him past the Toro Rosso driver. Now, it is Jensen inheriting the lead. We have Logan in P2, only 2.7 seconds behind, but Zor, I'm very interested in the pace Zor can put out in the laps to come. There was a big lockup from Necronical Pug. That's not going to help his tire life whatsoever. But nonetheless, is going on his strategy. Of course, he's going to pit once again. But maybe, especially considering Tom is probably pitting once again, that could be a good fight for 5th place. Because I would say everyone in the top 5, apart from Necronical Pug, won't be pitting until the end of the race. Or won't be pitting more than one time. Of course, Jensen and Logan haven't pitted yet. But yeah, Pug and Tom will pit once again, and Overspeed might get in the mix, JJS might get in the mix, but Tom and Necronical Pug will have fresher tires later in the race. So that's going to be interesting to see who gets that final spot of the top 5. Now, Zor just got a 130 point something. I couldn't quite see what that was, but it was a very good lap, fastest lap of the race so far. Neither rate, unfortunately for him, he hasn't been able to crack the top 10. And he gets a 3-second time penalty, so his weekend goes from bad to worse, unfortunately for him. Logan getting a penalty of his own, and it's Tom out of the race. Where was it? What happened? It was through turns 4 and 5, I would say. And yeah, there you have it. Just like Sainz in real life a couple seasons ago, he finds himself on the wall through the first sector, and that's race over for the debutee. He made a very good qualifying performance. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't really on the most optimal strategy, I would say, in terms of the race, but he finds himself by himself making a mistake. Of course, no replays, unfortunately, but he finds himself on the wall and is out of the race, unfortunately for him. Now, the best hopes of the Red Bull team are resting on JJS's shoulders. Let's see if we could get that last top 5 spot. Now, jumping to the battle for a P4, we have Necronical Pug and Evil Kiwi going side by side at 130R. Kiwi gets cleared of the Haas even before the corner itself. And wow, that was a massive lockup from the Czech driver. But the number 42 is through and up to P4. Necronical Pug, though, has everything to come back at him. Let's see how it goes, as we have Logan in the pits finally, going for a set of softs. And no, Necronical Pug does not have enough to get past. Overspeed gets himself up to P5. Logan in 6th, leg left, also overtaking JJS, who's on the pits for a pit stop of his own, so he's going to get rid of his medium compound tires and going to get brand new softs, which is going to take into the end, or until the end of the race, I am expecting. But yeah, JJS is going to get out of the pits in 11th place, but of course he's going to be much more competitive than some of those guys around him, as he's going to have enough to take those tires until the end. It is also going to be fresher, softer tires. So fortunately for him, he does have the pace to get, I would say, 7th place. Let's see if he can pull that one off. Now Logan, also out of his pits, gets himself behind Overspeed. So he's on brand new tires. Overspeed is going to the end on mediums. Logan is going to the end on softs. And I expect him to be on very close to the gearbox of the Hungarian driver pretty darn soon. You're going to get on the rundown to 130R. As you guys can see through the gaps, these two is the only driver pairing that is within 1 second of each other. As Zor inherits the lead once again. as Jensen goes into the pits. And the Chronicle Puck goes into the pits as well to get rid of his second set of super softs. We have Logan in the pits as well. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, well, I was expecting him to be able to take those until the end. Why? He's going for a set of super softs. So, oh, he got front wing damage, that's what it was. So he's going to pit again. I honestly missed that. Did he get contact with overspeed? If he did, I didn't see that. So Logan is going to get promoted probably to P9. Let's see. Yes, Bielyuk gets past the McLaren. So unfortunately for him, he was on pace for potentially a podium. But yeah, that extra pit stop is going to take down any chance of the number 19 getting on the podium today. So we're going to take a look at Black Reverse, who at one point of the race was finding himself in 15th. I don't think he has stopped yet. Let me check that real quick. He has stopped once, but he is going to get rid of those mediums soon for a set of softs, or maybe even super softs. If he can take those mediums for, I would say, 3-4 more laps, he could pit for super softs even. But at the moment, as Logan gets past Bielyuk, of course he's on super softs, much quicker than the mediums on that Ferrari. But yeah, Black Reverse has done well to recover from 15th up to P7. Of course, he's been picking up the pieces from the misfortunes of other drivers. I actually don't know if he's had any on-track overtake so far, the number 13, but at least he's in a very respectable 7th place at the moment. And he's also, I would say he's closing in on the Chronicle Pug, but he's probably not. It was getting close there through that little sector, but that was probably just a better exit, because yeah, the gap is going down somehow, even though I would expect the Chronicle Pug to pull away on much fresher and softer tires. But you have lag left, the Irish driver of the Mercedes coming out of the pits in P9, P10, let's see. Yes, he gets P10 behind Noiterate. Will JJS? No, JJS won't be able to catch up to the Irishman, and it is lag left with the last of the points paying positions so far. So we have 10 laps to go. Looks like the race has normalized. Let's take a look at the pit stops. We have Black Reverse to pit and Logan. I'm a bit puzzled by his choice of going on the super softs. Yes, he had to replace his front wing, but those super softs are going to be in very bad state towards the end of the race. So he's going to have to, we are going to have to wait and see what he can do with that. Of course, he's very close to Black Reverse, so let's take a look at him, as is right on the gearbox of that. Jensen gets a new fastest lap of the race, 130.3. Bielyuk gets himself a 3-second time penalty, as we have on the run down to 130R. It's side by side between Logan and a Black Reverse, and Black Reverse really doesn't have much to say on that exchange. His tires are much slower, much more worn out, so he's going to easily get through the Force India and get himself up to P6 as he posts the fastest lap of the race on his way there. 129.8 for the McLaren driver. He's up to P6. So despite having that extra pit stop, yes, he's only 2 seconds away from the Chronicle Pug. So maybe we could still have a battle between these two for the last of the top 5 places, as Overspeed is already 20 seconds away from the Chronicle Pug, so I don't think anyone below Overspeed will be a threat to his positioning. As we have Jensen in the meantime, before the pit stops, Jensen was over 2.5 seconds away from Evil Kiwi, but now he's coming back at the Czech driver. Of course, they went for the reverse strategies. Evil Kiwi started on the softs and now he's on the mediums. Jensen started on the mediums and is now on the softs. And this might be, at least comparing these two, this could very well be the best strategy. At least I would say it is working in Jensen's favor, as he has DRS wide open on the back of that Williams. Is he closing down on Evil Kiwi before the corner? No, he does not. He does not go for a move past Evil Kiwi, but this is the battle for the championship lead. They are not worried about the race win at the moment. They know probably, and there isn't anyone that can get even close to them in terms of the championship. There's not enough races left, so this is the only battle they care about. Who finishes ahead of who until the end of the season. Once again, for those of you who might not know, it's an 18-point gap between Jensen and Evil Kiwi. Jensen is the championship leader at this point, but Evil Kiwi is going to have every trick on his defensive driving hat to get himself ahead of Jensen until the end of the race, because of course Jensen is going to be quicker for a bit, but if he can defend himself well enough, it's going to be towards the end of the race Evil Kiwi's tires to get the advantage, because of course the softs degrade quicker. Now let's see, it's going to be side by side into 130R, a bit of a touch on the grass there from Jensen, didn't allow him to carry enough speed to get past. Leglaf gets himself a 3-second time penalty of his own. Let's see now, we're going for another round of this battle. It's Jensen with the RS wide open on the back of his Williams. Let's see, it's going to be getting closing in on Evil Kiwi, but once again it's not going to be enough to overtake the Czech driver. So it's going to be an interesting 7 laps until the end, unless one of these two makes mistakes, or one of these two gets somehow any mistake in resource management in terms of the fuel each one has and the ERS each one has at their availability. I can see on the steering wheel that Evil Kiwi has exactly 40% of his ERS still available, while Jensen has a much bigger blue bar. So Jensen has been able to save much more ERS, and that disparity is going to be useful for the Williams driver in the latter stages of this Grand Prix. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two are going to battle it out. Moving to the battle, I would say, for 5th place, we have a Chronicle Pug. He has been, I believe, he has been overtaken by Logan, right? Logan was behind the pole, but Logan's tires are going to degrade quicker. So it's also going to be interesting to see as the race comes into the Chronicle Pug's hands in terms of the battle for that 5th place. We had also some yellow flags through sector number 1, as it is Bialuk making a mistake at the exit of turn 7, or maybe into the first exit, turn 8, but yeah, bringing out the yellow flags. No safety car there, but it is indeed a very big mistake from Bialuk, who doesn't have the freshest tires at the moment. He also does not have the quickest tires. He does have the last of the points bank position, so this could be a 1-point weekend after 2 straight weekends without any points scored at the end of the race for Ferrari. It might be only 1 point scored for Ferrari at the end of this race, and that would mean maybe a further drop on the standings, as we have the Force India, I believe, very close to the Ferraris. So Black Reverse in 7th place might help Force India jump the Ferraris at the moment. You know what? I'm actually going to take a look at that real quick. And no, Ferrari is already behind Force India, and it is a 20-point gap between Ferrari and Red Bull. So I apologize about that. I'm just going to bring my windows back up. And there we have it, back with the action. We have once again Jensen taking the slipstream and probably a higher ERS mode. Jensen has been conserving his ERS rather well. We have a very good camera shot around here, but Jensen backed off from the 130R. He might go for a move. No, he does not go for a move as JJS retires from this session. And we have only 10 cars left in the race, so if no one else retires, the top 10, everyone who finishes the race is going to get some points at the end of this Grand Prix. Jensen once again very close into turn 1, but not enough. He might be just trying to pressurize Evil Kiwi into a mistake. The tire wear in those two must be quite similar, because yes, the mediums last longer, but Evil Kiwi pitted 3 laps earlier, so the tire wear is probably very similar between these two. And looking at the gaps, Nechronicle Pug made another mistake, because Nechronicle Pug is almost 3 seconds away from Logan. So yes, Nechronicle Pug should have the advantage in terms of tire wear until the end of the race, but the McLaren is currently taking advantage of mistakes from the Haas, as we have a charge from Jensen on the inside of Evil Kiwi at turn 11. Kobayashi style, but he couldn't get it together at the exit. Let's see now, he's going to have a higher ERS mode, he's going to have the inside line approaching the spoon curve. He's going to get his elbows wide. Evil Kiwi has to take it to the outside, and it's going to be Jensen taking the lead at the exit and on the run down into 130 Arbor. Let's see, it's going to be a drag race into it. Jensen is going to have the inside lane, and it is once again Kiwi having to defend around the outside, but he's not giving up. He locks up his tires, he goes on the inside, he gets a 5-second stop and go penalty for corner cutting there, as Logan retires from the race, unfortunately for him, as we have people just dropping like flies. It's been insane. And we get himself, and Jensen maintains himself ahead of Evil Kiwi, even though I believe that was very harsh, that 5-second penalty, probably for just trying to avoid Jensen. Yes, he went quite aggressively down the inside, but if Jensen closes the door, Evil Kiwi, he has to go somewhere, right? So I think that is very unfortunate how big that penalty was. But well, Jensen gets the lead, and I don't know if Jensen has any penalties of his own. So this might be it for the battle between these two in this race, as we have Zor leading the race with a 7-second lead over these two. So Jensen, yes, he does have soft tires, but and he has 4 laps fresher tires, but it's probably not going to be enough to get himself close to the Frenchman, who has been leading since lap 1. Of course, the only time he wasn't leading Grand Prix was when they went into the pits. Zor pitted before a couple of the medium starters, and he was also the first one to pit out of the soft starters, I believe, as well. But after that, after everything normalized to the pit strategy, he has been leading every single lap, already gotten a big chunk of the gap taken from him, but Jensen would have to get basically 2 seconds per lap, just over 1 second per lap, to even have a chance at Zor. And I'm afraid that's not going to happen. Jensen is driving like a possessed man. He's already over 1.5 seconds away from Evil Kiwi since the overtake maneuver occurred between those two. But nonetheless, it was just too little too late, really. The 2 or 3 laps Evil Kiwi was able to defend from Jensen bought Zor's time, and yeah, he's been able to just keep himself cool, collected, probably maybe even saving his tires somewhat, saving his resources. Let's take a look with his broadcast, and he actually doesn't have as much ERS as I would expect, considering he has been on the lead and unchallenged for so long, but he's in the lead, so that's really all that matters at the moment. Jensen is once again let's take a look at the race director. I want to take a look at this. I believe Zor is losing a second. Let's see, oh, we don't get that? Come on. Really? It doesn't update? Oh yeah, it did update. 131.1, 130.9. So he's on the low 31s, high 30s. Jensen is 1 second quicker than that. Yeah, he's been gaining a second per lap on Zor, but yeah, at this rate we only have 3 laps to go. The gap is 5 seconds, so it's going to be very, very close between these two. But again, I don't know if Jensen has what it takes to get past Zor. Jensen, who qualified in P2, had a disastrous a disastrous start. He went from P2 to P5 on the start alone. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he stalled or something, or I don't know. But what I know, or maybe his game lagged, something happened. But he dropped 4 or 5 places in the start. He was actually down to 8th place at one point after the first couple corners, I believe. But he's made his way through his strategy to get himself P2. He's currently the quickest man on track. But I'm afraid he just doesn't have enough to get Zor. Although, I'm going to take another look. Sorry, I just hit the microphone there for a second. I apologize for that. I'm going to take a look at the race director and see any penalties that he might have. So we are looking for the Williams driver. So let's take a look at that. I don't see any Williams. So I don't see any Williams. But Zor does have at least one 3-second time penalty. And I don't see anything about Williams. So this could very well... Oh my god, how many... Okay, this could very well still be a battle for the win. If Jensen gets within 3 seconds of Zor... If Jensen gets within 3 seconds of Zor, Jensen is the race winner. It's 1.5 seconds, just over 1.5 seconds, separating Jensen from the win. We are about, what, 1.5 laps to go? So Jensen needs to drive like an absolute mad lad to get himself close to the 3-second threshold he needs to get to. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be quite interesting to see. We are going to jump on board with the Williams, just going to follow the laps on his drive. As he gets a bit of understeer today, I could see the tires sliding through the spoon curve, getting himself once again through 130R. Zor is about to start himself the last lap of this Grand Prix. Jensen is not getting that absolute possessed pace he was getting before. His ERS bar is very low at the moment, so unfortunately for him, he might have yeah, he needs to really push on this last lap. He needs a 1.3 seconds of gained lap time on Zor to be able to pull through and win this race. Will he be able to do so? We can see Zor's car getting through this snake-like first sector in the distance, and Jensen is indeed gaining on the Frenchman. But will it be enough? Let's see how it goes. Of course, Jensen needs to be very aggressive, but also very, very clean. Gets cleanly through the exit of the second deck. A bit too wide there, but the gap is already less than 4 seconds. It just needs, what, 8 tenths? Something like that. 8, 9 tenths. If he can get those back, he might as well just ditch all of his ERS. There's no point holding to any extra bit of it. It doesn't help after the race is done, so he might as well use all of it that he can. And I don't know though, it doesn't look like he's close enough. So going to take to Zor. He's come under very high pressure late in the race, but nonetheless, let's see. As it stands though, he's getting to the last corner, a bit sideways through there, but he's going to cross over the line and take home the win of this Grand Prix, this Japanese Grand Prix. Jensen comes home 0.3 of a second away from the win. Evil Kiwi gets in P3. Bioliuk was quite dangerous there as he stepped himself on the line Zor was taking and slowing down quite a lot as he didn't want to take the extra lap. He wanted to get lapped there, but that could have been dangerous. That could have taken Zor out of the race. Then we got over speed with a good race overall, getting himself before a Chronicle Pug. He's going to cross the line in P5. After that we have Black Reverse, and he actually did not pit. He only pitted once early in the Grand Prix, and he's done 25 laps on a set of mediums. For me, this man is the driver of the day. He pitted at the second lap of this Grand Prix, maybe after damage, I don't know, but he pitted at the second lap of the Grand Prix. He was down to 15th at one point, kept his nose clean, kept himself out of problems, picked up the misfortunes of others, and is going to cross over the line to take home P6. What an amazing performance from the Belgian driver of the Force India. As we have Norderweight coming home in P6 rather, as he took advantage of the 5-second stop and go penalty from Black Reverse, and someone else crossed the line in 8. I couldn't see who that was, but there you have it. Another win from the Frenchman. He might be out. He came into the lead too late to contend for the championship, but he did win at Singapore. He got a second place at Belgium, fourth at Russia after his mistake but today comes back strong with pole position and the race win, as he has Jensen on the second step of the podium, extending the lead of the championship to the man you guys can see in third place. Evil Kiwi, he tried his best to defend from Jensen, but Jensen was just a man possessed on that second stint. And there you have it, no penalties from him, and that brought him 3 tenths away from the race win today. And there you have it, we have Zor taking the win, Jensen in P2, Evil Kiwi in P3, Overspeed P4, Nechronical Pug in 5th, Noiderate in P6, Black Reverse in 7th, followed by Leglaf with Bielyuk in, with Leglaf in 8th, Bielyuk in 9th, as he is the last of the drivers. Logan could have gotten P10, but he didn't complete 90% of the race distance, so he's probably not going to get the points. As this is it, guys, for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. It's the icon for any notification of whenever I'm about to start a live stream or to post a video. If you are on YouTube, if you are on Twitch, a follow would be greatly appreciated. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.